Good morning, Wrestling Inc. Welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily and happy 400th episode of the Wrestling Inc. Daily. Brian, we did it. 400 episodes thus far.
I raise my glass to you, sir. I'm starting my day with a little bit of the bubbly so that to celebrate you. Thanks for making such a great show where so many people in the wrestling business can come to talk to you about their feelings about the business, and we can celebrate wrestling.
Yes, Nick Hausman, Dr. Hausman here. You come sit on my couch, whether you're a pundit or a wrestler, you have a job, you just lost it, whatever it may be. The Daily, we're here for you. We're listening, right? So,
we're listening, we're watching, we're celebrating.
We're listening, we're watching. Wow, okay. Well, a little Orwellian there to start the day, but whatever. We're the eye. We're the eye in the sky. Well, for those of you that are tuning in, thank you so much for joining us here for episode number 400. I am thrilled to have Brian here. He's, you've got like it's floral designs. I'm wearing a little bit of floral today again as well.
I love flowers. Spring's over, summer's here, baby. Flowers are in bloom.
Starting to become like an official look of the Daily here is the floral look. I'm all about it. I went and bought some clothes of my own. I went and bought some new clothes the other week, and Liz didn't come with me, and I knew that was going to be maybe not the best call because she was very busy. I came back and she said, "Wow, your clothing taste is Miami cocaine dealer," and thank you, Liz. Love you. Hope you're watching.
That's the way to go.
Well, we are here. Sherrod Jones, what's up, everybody? Yeah, what is up? Join the conversation here. The comment section is open. We have the Mecca thread here. It's episode 400, and you should be a part of it. So if you hear anything that we're talking about that you want to chime in on, if you want to talk with other fans, go into the comment section. We'll pull some of your comments up just like I did there. And just like I'm doing again, happy 400th. Happy Corbin would say the same. We're going to talk about that here in a bit. So great show. Lots of news. After the news, if you're in audio form, you're going to hear part 2 of Drew Rice's interview with WCW star Lodi of Ravens Flock fame. Deep cut.
Love the Ravens Flock. WCW's undercard in the Attitude Era was so fantastic. I have to say, I switched over to Nitro quite a bit of times just for that undercard.
Big Reese, man. That I don't know what it was about Big Reese, but I thought he was so cool.
I mean, for me, it was always I liked Sick Boy. And
yeah,
and if you weren't a Kidman fan, I think you were crazy.
Yeah, Kidman was obviously a star of the Ravens Flock, but like again, we remember each of them. Like Lodi. Like, he talks about the funny signs he made. And anyway, this is a great interview.
Yeah.
It's part 2. Part 1 is already up. And if you want to watch part 2, we're going to premiere it here in about 56 minutes over on the Wrestling Inc. YouTube channel. We premiere new interview content every day, 1 p.m. Eastern, over on Wrestling Inc.'s YouTube channel. At the end of the show for everybody, we're going to dive to the mailbag. We're going to look at tonight's Dynamite in the mailbag. First live Wednesday show after I feel how long's it been? 7 years? It's been since the show was on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, the last time AEW was on a Wednesday, California was still closed, and I was just inside all the time. It's a whole different world.
Yeah. Well, speaking of a whole different world, a whole new world, a little romance in the air to start the show as well. Before we get to the news, congratulations to Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. Rollins. Cheers. Yes, I'll cheers with a bit of coffee as well. Rollins teased it an Instagram post yesterday, said maybe finally a good day to get married. WWE confirmed it, congratulating them. So congratulations. They have a baby. They've got rings on each other's fingers, and they did it on our 400th episode. They did it for us,
That's all they can do. Becky and Seth give their entire lives to us wrestling fans, so we appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to it here. News you can use. News will leave a bruise, and we will start with some bruising news. NXT last night. Mercedes Martinez may have been stunned or knocked out during last night's episode. NXT had Xia Li and Boa defeat Martinez and Jake Atlas. The finish came after Lee delivered a roundhouse to the side of Mercedes' head. The referee that checked on Martinez ended the match via referee stoppage. And we have here now From Fightful, Martinez was checked out after returning backstage and was taken to a local hospital for further evaluation. She still hasn't commented on her status, but Jake Atlas did make a post-show tweet calling her a true badass and saying that this is far from over. Very scary, man.
Yeah, she ate all of that kick. It's so crazy when a performer does those spin moves because they lose, eye contact, and it's hard to place where you're landing that kick. And I think it's also seeing this, you can see how great Aleister Black was / Tommy End in doing that move and never really hurting anybody on TV. So it's very hard, and it emphasizes the danger of professional wrestling.
Yeah, and I obviously do the podcast with Sean Waltman, who's like the master of spinning heel kicks and spin kicks. And so we've talked at length on the show about the art of throwing kicks with various guests and at different times, just because Sean's so synonymous with it, And Sean, on many occasions, has told me and others, like, sometimes I just nailed him, like it's if you don't move. See, here's the trick to taking a move like that. It came up in the Jeff Jarrett episode with Sean, and Sean and Jeff worked a lot together in the 90s, and I don't know about 2000, but definitely in the 90s, worked a lot together. And Jeff perfected the art, in their words, of falling as the kick was coming. Jeff was already falling as the kick was coming. So, like, not waiting to feel the kick and then fall, but then starting to fall as the kick is coming at you. So it all kind of flows together. And if you're moving backwards as a kick is flying at you, a lot less chance you're going to get seriously hurt. I watched it back a couple times, and it looks like Mercedes just kind of stood her ground, waited for the kick. And, dude, you knew it was bad because her arms just go limp.
Yeah.
And just falling straight down. Good on the referee for acting as quick as she did. There was like a quick pinfall attempt, and in my head I was like, "This is wrong," and the ref was like, in her head was like, "This is wrong." Stop the match. So good on the ref. Good on the ref. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what it also reminded me of is when Kofi knocked out the Miz. It might have been 10 years ago now that I think about it, with Trouble in Paradise. And I think he also knocked out one of his teeth too. Those spin kicks are dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very dangerous. And again, it's like, from what I gather of the art of getting kicked, by the way, on the indies, there was only one time that an attempt to kick me in the face happened. And I jumped up on the ring apron, and the wrestler in the ring was going to super kick me. And I was like, I've never taken a super kick. I think I'm going to die. He's like, you're not going to die. Just wait till you feel a little bit of a touch and then just throw yourself off the ring apron. I was like, okay, all right, I got it. So I'm standing there on the ring apron in my suit, as I want to do as a manager. And here comes this kick. And like, I just throw myself backwards. It was like a Hadouken type thing where the kick was like 2 feet away and I was on the ground, right? There was no contact made, completely exposed the business. It was really rough. So, firsthand, I can tell you, really scary to be kicked in the face and have to worry about not getting kicked in the face. So anyway, that's my input. And again, just what I saw is like, I just don't think Mercedes started the fall. It looks like she held her ground, and Xia Li just blasted her. So anyway, yeah.
I hope she has a speedy recovery, gets back in the ring, and we can see her on TV very, very soon.
Well, the other side of the coin here, lastly, to talk about this, it is awful what happened here. I really hope looking at what Alonso said here, I think we all echo that. I hope Mercedes is okay. She's so tough and talented. It was cool to see her team with Jake Atlas last night. And Atlas saying this isn't done. This is going to put some heat, right? You're going to want to see these women back in the ring if Mercedes, God willing, is cleared here quickly and is able to compete again. And Xia Li, more dangerous now, so very unfortunate when this stuff happens. Don't wish it on anyone, but the aftermath here, now that all the dust is going to settle, you're going to have a real program between these two women that's going to have some fire to it. And I hope that Mercedes is able to get back, because the fans are really going to want to see it.
And that's one of the beautiful things about wrestling. Its ability to turn, negative situations, tragedies into an angle that we can all enjoy and have fun with later down the line. Who doesn't love that I broke Wahoo's leg T-shirt, or like what was it, Stan Hansen that broke Bruno's neck? Wrestling has a great history of turning injuries into amazing angles that may propel the wrestlers' careers even further.
Also here wanted to bring up Brandy Sam, who said just basically hi to us, but also complimented your nice Miami Vice suit there, Brian.
Hey, I had to bring it for the 400th episode.
400th episode, people. 400 times we have done this show in different versions. We're finally in our greatest form here in video version live for you all. Lastly, here, I'll take one from Jeff. I hope Mercedes is okay. This can be good woman storyline. Didn't Xia Li do this to Aaliyah? I don't recall. That very possible. But again, doing the show with Sean, sounds like Sean on more than one occasion really rocks somebody. So, like, it's a dangerous move. And again, my advice to anyone who's taking it, learn from Jeff Jarrett. Start the fall before you get kicked. Be moving before that thing hits your face. That is my only advice to anyone taking that move. All right. On to the next item. We're going to keep talking NXT here before we get to other stuff. Isaiah Swerve Scott, he beat Bronson Reed. He's the new North American champion, Brian.
Hit Row is on top. I love it. I'm so excited for them to continue their ascent. Swerve Scott is a fantastic wrestler. Sorry for Bronson Reed, but I'm sure he's on to bigger and better things. They already took a look at him, I think, on main event for a possible main roster spot. So, who better than Swerve Scott and Hit Row to get the gold?
Yeah, 100%. I agree on all that. I think Bronson Reed, we'll see him on Raw or SmackDown very, very soon. Maybe as early as this Friday. I'm not really sure. He'd be a great Money in the Bank competitor. SmackDown's still got a couple open slots over there.
Yeah.
Right. Great chance maybe to get him in that mix. And then, yeah, man, if Bronson's going away and you got to put that title on somebody, you couldn't pick a better person than Isaiah Swerve Scott. Perfect little jewel in that crown. It looks good with the whole unit around that title. They feel like a big deal. I really thought it was great. I have no issues with anything they did last night.
And the North American Championship is just so pretty.
Yeah.
What a pretty belt.
And Antonio, you're saying it sounds like, Bronson's moving to the main roster, which I agree with. And the big tell for me was that they announced this title match like 45 minutes into the show. And you would think that if it was like a meaningful title change or something, that they would have given it maybe more than an hour's or so worth of build. So the fact that it was announced very last minute and then there was the title change makes me think that they want everyone to kind of quickly forget that Bronson maybe even held this title because he's going to be moving on to other things in the not too different future.
Yeah. Hey man, live shows are coming back. Need some bodies on that tour.
Yeah. I love this from Dino here. I still think R-Truth could turn heel and act as a veteran mentor to Hit Row. And I had never thought about that, Dino. Never, but oh man, that's a great idea.
I would love that. I would love that. How fun.
An R-Truth run in NXT would be amazing. With Hit Row, be great.
R-Truth also just never ages and always stays in fantastic shape. I'd love to see his matches in NXT.
Mm-hmm. And Christopher here saying, does Scott feud with Escobar now? And sure. I mean, that'd be great. The two, Legato, Hit Row. I mean, there's a lot you could do there. Sure, why not? Yeah.
I feel like Hit Row, once live audiences fully come back, it'll be hard for them to stay heel. Everyone's just going to cheer them.
All right. We also have here from NXT last night some new matches for Great American Bash. Cameron Grimes LA Knight for the $1 million title is now official for next Tuesday. And if Grimes loses, he becomes Knight's butler. Thoughts, Brian?
Oh man, I love those butler matches and that stipulation. I think it's so fun. But it would be heartbreaking to see Cameron have to be muted and stifled by the LA Knight. So hopefully Cameron can pull it out here. But anything that puts Cameron Grimes on my television makes me happy.
Yeah, I agree fully. And I want Grimes to take this title. I just feel like they're just getting going, and Grimes is going to become this butler character for Knight. And it's going to be wacky, and it's going to go on for months, and then Grimes will hopefully finally overcome. I mean, sounds like they're just going to make him Virgil. I mean, Virgil finally won the $1 million title and beat Ted DiBiase. It was biggest moment of Virgil's career.
And it was one of the biggest pops of that SummerSlam. That was so much fun. I love that match.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, I that's where they're going to go. I'm going to remain open-minded about it. LA Knight, we were talking about this yesterday, or I think it was last week. It was with Polio, about how LA Knight still doesn't have like a three-dimensional feel to me. He's just a guy with a belt who yells a lot. And anything to help me give me some more depth to LA Knight, if it's at Grimes' expense, which kind of bums me out because I think Grimes is just rolling right now, but maybe he can find some more depth as well. But LA Knight still needs something in NXT at the moment.
You know, I think part of it is we know what drives Cameron Grimes, but we don't really know what drives LA Knight besides wanting to be champion.
Right.
Oh, what are his values? And we haven't really seen anyone go up against LA Knight to challenge his values. We only see LA Knight challenging Cameron Grimes' values. And somehow, you know, if they can figure out a way for Cameron Grimes to expose whatever it is, like an insecurity, something in LA Knight that we could get behind. Because, you know, we love to boo heels that have an insecurity. You know, Kurt Angle was a great guy who was always insecure. He wanted everyone to know he was champion. And when being told that he sucked just hurt him to his core. He had a gold medal. Mm-hmm. He doesn't suck. And that is part of what gave Kurt Angle this three-dimensional thing. So hopefully LA Knight, we can find just something that he's insecure about.
He's a gold medalist. He doesn't suck. You're right. He so clearly doesn't suck. He so very clearly does not suck. And you're right. That is why Kurt Angle was great. I want to read here from Put Some Respect. Terrible idea with Grimes. This guy is going to waste away in WWE. Instead, they should take him on tour. And I will say, in a perfect world for me, Grimes wins this $1 million title on Tuesday, shows up on SmackDown. Money in the Bank, right? Same thing with Reed. Like I want to see this act in its full form on a bigger stage. I think it's fun what he's doing with LA Knight here, but I see a lot bigger things you could do with a Cameron Grimes with that $1 million title on a brand like a SmackDown. Mr. Money in the Bank with the $1 million title, that kind of thing. I mean, to the moon. I put the rocket on this guy. He is a fully fleshed out, fun wrestler that I enjoy and would watch. And maybe I'll enjoy watching him be a butler. I'm not sure. And I think that's very likely. But to the moon with this guy. Yeah.
It'd be, can you imagine the cross promotion that you could do with Cameron Grimes, putting him on like Fox Business or something, coming on with the $1 million title? There's just so many. He could be like, you know, the representative of the meme stock traders. There's so many things you could do with that guy.
Christopher here saying, what if Ted DiBiase returns to cost LA Knight the $1 million championship? Be a great moment. Be a great moment. Randy Sam here. Grimes should win the belt too. To the moon. I agree. All right. Also for next week, we found out Io Shirai and Zoe Starks are going to take on the Way for the women's tag titles. What a sizzler. Just absolute banger. I thought that opening tag match with all three women was just about as good as it gets. I mean, the last 3 minutes of that thing, the pace was so quick. The near falls, the moves, like I was just blown away. I thought it was a fantastic match last night.
NXT always has amazing multi-man matches, but this one was so much. It was even more fun because they kind of hinted at tropes of previous NXT multi-man matches, like with the Tower of Doom spot and then Raquel Gonzalez breaking it up. Oh my gosh, so much fun. Yeah, love that match. What a hot start to last night's show.
Absolutely great. And yeah, very excited to see this tag match. Man, the Great American Bash being like these, and then you got Cole and O'Reilly on this show. I mean, it's gonna be a sizzler. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be wonderful. Also last night on the show, they announced the 2021 WWE NXT Breakout Tournament is going to get underway in 2 weeks, so the week after the Great American Bash. This is going to be the first episode of After the Bash. Top WWE prospect Parker Boudreaux teased he could maybe make his in-ring debut during the tourney. Soon after the tournament was announced, Boudreaux tweeted "Breakout," a hint at his debut. He deleted the tweet quickly, but several fans, being being those little fans that they are, managed to get a screen grab of the post. So WWE has yet to announce the participants of this year's tournament. However, they have confirmed there's going to be 8. And yeah, I mean, it seems like this is a chance to, that Bronson Reichsteiner kid who's Rick Steiner's son. Maybe we'll see him in this. I could see Parker, but man, dude, yeah, I don't know. He loves to play with people on social media. I'm not surprised he did it, but like, you definitely don't want to get slapped on the wrist just before your debut. That's not a great position to be in if he was told to take that down.
Yeah, he's very active on social media, and like I said at the top of the show, wrestling fans are always watching. They're gonna catch your post, and they got it. So hopefully Parker doesn't get in too much trouble and everything's a-okay. Man, if I were gonna debut Bronson or Parker in NXT, both are big, monstrous guys with a heck of a presence already before we even see them as wrestlers. I feel like those are guys that you wouldn't want to debut in a tournament. I'd have them attack somebody after their match or have them. I feel like these are attraction type guys,
Right. Yeah, no, I really thought that Eva was going to bring out Parker on Raw. I thought that's what
man, that would have been awesome.
Well, I have no idea what his skill level's like in the ring right now, but they did so much stuff on social media together. It just made a lot of sense to me. So, but I agree with you. But unless you're going to have Parker win the thing. And I don't know if you put them both in the tournament because,
yeah,
I agree. I don't really know that you want to, take away from either of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So, by that way, on that note, Alonzo Smith here, NXT, bringing back the Breakout Tournament. Too bad they couldn't show nor mention the person who won it, Jordan Miles. Yes. Very unfortunate what happened there. Let's see here. Some predictions for next week from Christopher. I predict Candice and Indy retain, and at the end, the battery charge is 100% to see the return of Tegan Knox. Yeah, next week this battery charger thing's finally going to pay off. Hopefully.
Yeah, Tegan Knox would be really fun. I know people are thinking about Finn Balor. There's also Kona Reeves. I saw. You never know. And I love wrestling for this stuff. This is so much fun.
I'm hoping it's Keith Lee.
Oh, man. I hope Keith Lee is doing well. I miss Keith Lee.
I hope he's recharging those batteries. That's what I'm saying. So anyway,
that would be awesome.
So we have also on the women's tag title from SC Williams, Sup Nick and Brian, Candice and Indy retain, but Zoe Stark turn heel. Join the way is Aunt Zoe on Io Shirai. So it's like Full House, I guess. Yeah. We also have here, from Randy Sam here, no NXT title on the Great American Bash. That's interesting. Maybe at the next pay-per-view. And yeah, they're trying to get something going here between Gargano and Cross. And I don't know if it's just the size difference or the fact that Johnny has just been like a comedy character for a really long time at this point. Even with the physicality and stuff, it still hasn't gripped me, these two, quite yet.
Man, I'm a Johnny Gargano fan, so I'll follow him wherever he goes. But yeah, right now it's not quite there yet, but it's not, their match isn't on the show yet, so we got to build, and hopefully through this build we'll see Johnny start to be taken seriously again.
Yeah, hopefully. All right, well, let's get Shakespearean up in here. The fall of King Baron Corbin. So WWE no longer billing Corbin as King. His name has fully been changed back to just Baron Corbin on the official WWE roster. Furthermore, he changed his Twitter name from The King to The King is Dead. As noted, of course, Corbin lost his crown to Nakamura on last week's SmackDown in a battle for the crown. Nakamura then had his official coronation as King this past Friday. During that segment on Friday, a sad and disappointed Corbin was shown watching backstage. Kayla Braxton approached for an interview, called him King Corbin, but then corrected herself and just called him Baron Corbin. Corbin commented that he has lost everything, not just his crown. He asked, "What's the point?" Walked off. There was a post-SmackDown interview with Megan Morant where he said, "I was a wealthy man, but now ... Shook his head. Very despondent. The fall of King Baron Corbin. What do you think?
It's heartbreaking. I love Baron Corbin. I love Baron Corbin in NXT when people used to just count the seconds in his matches. Baron Corbin, I feel like, is very much due for an updated character. This man is a legitimate athlete. He's a Golden Gloves boxing champion. He's known for grappling, and he was an NFL player. He was an offensive lineman, I think, for the Colts and the Cardinals. This is a guy who WWE, they put this King gimmick on him, and that's fine. But there's so much meat on the bone with Baron Corbin. And I feel like there's a lot of opportunity. And I hope that WWE is able to capitalize on all of the things that this guy brings to the table so that people can take him seriously. And we could see Baron Corbin back in the world title picture sooner than later. This is a main event guy.
I really think that over time, there will be a more of an appreciation for Baron. When you talk about agile big men in that conversation, I don't know what it is, but I get big boss man vibes off of Corbin. I don't know if it's the demeanor or just the way he moves as a big guy.
A few of the moves are big boss man moves. He uses big boss man moves.
Yeah, he uses a lot of you're right. The tilt-a-whirl slam and everything. I like this because Corbin has been such a character, like a cartoon. This king, like whatever that is. Anytime the character gets dropped and we get to see realism, like the real person. When Roman Reigns stopped being nice guy, I'm out of the box action figure shield Roman Reigns, and allowed some personality to seep through, it clicked. I'm optimistic, especially since Corbin is over on SmackDown, where they seem to be able to have a better grip on how to, book. So, I'm optimistic, and more realism, more real Baron Corbin, less sticky, cartoony King Baron Corbin is, I think, great for Corbin and everyone.
Man, I'm a big fan of Baron Corbin, the dude, because I love his social media. I love his cooking, his passion for cooking. I'm a big at-home cook, and so Baron Corbin is one of my favorite accounts to follow. I love seeing what he's cooking up and what whiskey he's trying each day.
So, and a lot of people in the comment section, rightfully, I've teased you all. You all know what's coming here. So what is next for Baron Corbin? Well, we know this. Earlier this week, WWE filed for 3 new trademarks. One is Nikki Ash, which is, by the way, a superhero in training, and that's what maybe she'll use as Nikki Cross instead. But the trademark filing related to Baron Corbin, the trademark filing that has the word Corbin in it, WWE has trademarked the trademark Happy Corbin. Happy Corbin. Happy Corbin.
I mean, my mind goes straight to Happy Gilmore. I feel like Baron Corbin doing a Happy Gilmore gimmick where, he's a little quiet, reserved, but then flips out of nowhere and gets really aggressive. That could be very fun. And maybe Baron Corbin wants to tap into his humorous side. But man, for me, this dude is a grappler, Golden Gloves champ. This guy is a main event dude that we should all be taking seriously and be afraid of.
Yeah. John Cups, wait to see what happens with this WWE trademark of Happy Corbin. Dino, perhaps Happy Corbin could be called up portraying a relative of Corbin's a la Crash and Hardcore Holly, trying to keep Baron happy. I don't know that it's going to have to be. I don't know that's going to go that well. Samantha here saying, I used to have a t-shirt that said Mr. Happy with the cartoon character sticking up his middle finger, I guess, right? Like you said, maybe he's happy one moment, gets tweaked, not so happy Corbin. I don't know. Or Ricky here saying, sup, Nick and Brian, maybe Happy Corbin joins Bray in the Funhouse. That could be interesting. And like a sweater vest? Okay. Sure. Why not?
Oh, man.
All right. Drake Wuertz is back on our run sheet here. God, this is... Anyway, former NXT referee Drake Wuertz took to Instagram, revealed a text message that he received from WWE Talent Relations head John Laurinaitis a few weeks before he was fired in regards to wearing masks and COVID-19. Laurinaitis wrote, effective immediately at all upcoming tapings. If you have been fully vaccinated, you no longer are required to test or wear a mask. However, if you are fully vaccinated, make sure medical has proof of your vaccination. If you are not fully vaccinated, the standard protocol is still in place. You will have to test, fill out paperwork, have your tip checked, and wear a mask. Thank you, John Laurinaitis. Which, first of all, before we get to anything else, good policy. For all of the grief, and some of it given by me to the canary in the coal mine situation that became WWE in the pandemic, I would have I don't want to say expected less, but this is good, right? I applaud them for at least having good policy.
Oh yeah. I mean, we heard a lot of dumb stuff from them about from the spray that Triple H said killed COVID and all the things that they had to keep everybody safe. But it's good to actually see an internal message that is responsible, positive, and encouraging good behavior around people so that we can be protected and get back on the road. You know, if you guys haven't been vaccinated, please get your shots so that we can get back on the road. This is what we're all here for. We all need to party together again. And the only way we can do that is if as many people as possible get these shots. I've had mine for 4 months now, or 3 months now, been doing great. And I've been out every night of the week that LA has been open. I'm getting out, doing mics, seeing people, experiencing the world, and please get your shots.
Yeah, I'm definitely hitting up my dive bar a couple times a week right now. It just feels nice. To be able to get back in there. Hey, Bill, what's going on? You know, like love my little Cheers establishment.
Be a citizen of your community.
That's wonderful. I'm a simple man. I don't need too much, you know. So shortly before revealing the text messages on WWE's COVID-19 vaccine and mask policy, Wuertz took to his Instagram feed, issued a statement noting that he questioned and pushed back at vaccine requirements and was punished as that didn't fit the narrative, he said. He went on to say that he lost his 6-figure job for, quote, taking a stand on multiple fronts, but he doesn't regret it at all. He accused WWE of violating basic human rights and bowing to a, quote, communist mob agenda. I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. Drake needs, help, you know, deprogramming. You know, it is very unfortunate to me when politics and science, you know, like being anti-science becomes a political stance is very dangerous and scary to me. And, you know, Drake is spiraling right now. Like, I mean this in all sincerity. Like, Drake is seemingly spiraling right in front of us right now. He's not listening to reason or logic. And I hope somebody intervenes. Period. Right?
I mean, you read that message and it reads like a crazy person. Mm-hmm. You know, it reminds me so much of that Chappelle Show sketch when keeping it real goes wrong. And you're like, Drake, you gave up a 6-figure job for this idiocy. You know, like, I would love to be making 6 figures right now. Come on, guy. What are you doing? He was the head referee of NXT, and he lost this job for this goofy stuff. It's heartbreaking to see. And I know he's had a lot of friends try to reach out to him. But who, you know, it takes him to listen. We need the person to listen. And
communist mob agenda. It's just a way of speaking that says to me, like, there's a lot going on up top, you know, and you're being influenced by the wrong crowd. And speaking of people who are no longer with the company, Fightful saying veteran pro wrestler Sanjay Dutt has left WWE. He has worked for the company as a producer. Word going around is that it was Dutt's decision to leave, but additional details have not been confirmed. It was noted that we should be expecting changes within WWE, including some potentially big behind-the-scenes changes in the coming days and weeks. PW Insider saying Dutt gave notice a few weeks back, left on his own terms. Dutt started working as a producer in January 2019 after an Achilles injury had kept him away from in-ring action since late 2017. I went over to Sanjay's Twitter account, and he has a booking address listed. If I had to glean what is going on in this situation, I would guess that Sanjay healed, probably wanted to wrestle. They said, we don't really have a spot, or, you know, physically you're at a point where you could, but not by our standards, whatever it may be. And I think the guy just wants to go out there and have another run. And I don't know that he thought that he was going to get to have it and do it the way maybe he wanted in WWE, and that's why he left. If I had to guess, the guy's taking it. He's got a booking email out there right now.
Man, what a great find by you on that. That's fantastic. Yeah, I would love to see Sanjay back in the ring. He worked for TNA a lot. He did 2 shots in TNA, I remember, and Global Force Wrestling with Jeff Jarrett, the other one too, I think. man, it'd be great to see Sanjay back in the ring. And also now, after 2 years experience as a WWE producer, how cool would that be to see him and bring that knowledge to the indies and all the younger wrestlers out there trying to come up?
Yeah, so this week, so tomorrow, it's already out on Patreon if you subscribe for Waltman Show, but tomorrow, for free for everybody, we're gonna have the interview with the Bollywood Boys coming out. Sean's like really good friends with them, and they were obviously released this past Friday, so this is as fresh as it fresh could be for people that just work for the company. And talking to them, man, like even in like their opinion, and I'm not giving away the whole interview here, but they still see a lot of value in that Indian market, right? Like they were part of Rinka King, they were part of like WWE's India initiative, and like nobody's quite got that right yet. And you see them on the market now. Sanjay's out there too. I mean, I don't know if you could put the pieces together or something like that, but it definitely seems like there's a hunger amongst that crowd to like try to get back to doing something over there. And it's a really rough time in India right now. With the pandemic is far from over there right now. But it was interesting to me hearing them talk openly about the desire to try to still break into that market.
I mean, there's already over 1 billion people there. There's a lot of people that would love to watch some wrestling in India. Well, Bret Hart is really the guy in India. He's really like their top guy. Yeah, India loves Bret Hart.
We talk about that too. And they give their theory on the show as to why Indians love Bret Hart so much. And I thought it was pretty good. So anyway, Samantha here saying, with all the releases, why are they doing tryouts in Vegas? Here's what I think is happening right now. In a means of cost cutting, they're like trimming down people with the big contracts and filling back up with people at a lesser contract value. So basically creating a new ceiling cap on what they're willing to pay performers. And I think that's it. Bada boom. That's why they're doing tryouts. So
yeah. This is what happens when somebody has that kind of monopoly on the market. AEW is bringing in competition, but it's going to take a while for them to be able to compete in bidding for new talent. And WWE is able to kind of set the market this way.
Yeah. All right. Lastly here, before we get to part 2 of Drew's interview with Lodi, and then we'll dive into the mailbag, talk a little AEW. Sports Business Journal saying Monday's live edition of Raw featuring McIntyre versus Riddle versus AJ Styles, the Money in Bank qualifier in the main event, did an average of 1.57 million viewers, down 8.7 from last week. Last week's 1.719. This week's Raw was the second lowest viewership of the year so far, behind only the Memorial Day episode. Should be noted that Raw faced stiff competition from the NBA playoffs. Last week's Hell in a Cell did not. Monday's Raw viewership still down 9.5% from where they were in 2020, which was also, I think, right around when they were getting into the Thunderdome. It was all still very weird. So not great news here when it comes to Raw viewership this week.
I mean, it's hard to watch. It's, and you're a wrestling fan. How many times can you be disrespected over and over again and just take it? So, some of us do it for our job, but I can understand as a fan, tuning out a little bit. And I got to tell you, it's been a year of pandemic wrestling, and watching canned cheers, canned boos, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to watch a sitcom with canned laughter. Don't tell me when to laugh. Don't tell me when to cheer. Don't tell me when to boo. I know exactly what I want to do. And it's just disrespectful to fans. And I feel like that's why fans are looking for other things to do with their time. If we've learned anything from the pandemic, it's that our time is valuable, and whatever we choose to do with it is the only agency we have in this world. And if someone's going to disrespect us like this, we're going to watch something else. We're going to do something else.
I think a large part of it is what you're describing. I think another part of it too may be that since like we all know like July 16th, we're going to be back to non-Thunderdome shows. Mm-hmm. I think there's a fair amount of just kind of checked outedness amongst wrestling fans as well, where it's like, well, why would I watch for the next 3 weeks? Like, you're not going to do anything. Like, Edge came back. That was pretty big, setting the stage for, Money in the Bank and that first, live SmackDown back. But I think that's about as big as it's going to get here for the next, 2.5, 3 weeks. I think they're going to be on Coast, decent build to Money in the Bank. You're going to take those 8 people that are in that match, tags, 4 ways, a little bit of jaw jacking. But, I think the fans know that, like, nothing's going to happen here up until July 16th. And everybody's just waiting until the fans get back to start watching again.
Yeah, I don't like the criticism that WWE throws at internet fans, smart fans. The internet's been around for 30 years. Fans have been smart for a long time. So get with the program. We're not stupid. We're watching this stuff, and we're going to tune out if it's bad.
All right, everybody. Well, that's going to bring us to the mailbag portion of the show. Thank you all so much for sticking around here today. 400 episodes of the Wrestling Inc. Daily. Man, once again, what a mark. Well, on to 500 now. I mean, that's the real one. The 500, that's a big number. So you guys have been great. Wonderful. Really thank you for the support. Thank Brian for being here. Thank you to Lodi, Drew Rice for that great part 2 of that interview. And as we do here in the mailbag, we ask you a question at Wink Daily, WINC Daily over on Twitter. That's the account to follow. If you want to vote in the daily poll, you want to find out links to where we're going to be live or when new content comes out, go follow us there at WINC Daily over on Twitter. Poll question. We're looking at AEW tonight. Big show. First live Wednesday night edition since they've been dark here for about a month, or up on weekends, I guess, for about a month. What are you most hyped for on the show tonight? Is it MJF and Guevara? Is it Miro Pillman Jr.? Is it Bucks versus Pinta and Kingston? Or is it something else? We have about 150 votes here in the last hour. And with 73.5%, it is a knockout blow-away, no write-ins, MJF Guevara. That's what people are on the hook here for tonight, Brian.
MJF Guevara, to me, has the feel of like Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart in 1992, that Survivor Series, or maybe it was 93. These guys are the future of the business. I'm so excited to see what they do. I feel like MJF comes out on top in this one.
You think so?
Yeah. I feel like Guevara's chase has only begun.
Okay. I will say I voted for Miro Pillman Jr. just because I've been really still riding. And then look, I'm all about MJF Guevara too. I haven't been a fan of some of the stuff online. Whatever. It'll be a great match. I think they're very young and they're trying things out, whatever. But Miro Pillman Jr., I just really look forward to watching Miro work with a guy like Pillman who has got some mass to him, but obviously can move around and fly like his dad. And I just am still riding the Pillman train, man. Like ever since the Dark Side thing, and I worked with him here at Warrior Wrestling, and just a Pillman fan. I'm excited to see him get the shot. Yeah,
it's hard not to root for him. I got to see him here in LA when he wrestled at the Comedy Store for Storecade, so that was a lot of fun. Hard not to root for Brian Pillman Jr. and hard not to root for Miro. So great to see him in a great position again, looking strong. His social media game is strong. This dude was so over. Not like 7 years ago, people were chanting Rusev Day everywhere around WrestleMania week. And so it's great to see Miro in a serious position again.
And we're a month or so away from I think maybe a month and a half away from CJ Perry, his wife, being free and out on the market and stuff. And once these two get together, I can't imagine. I mean, I think it's a given, right? I feel like it's a layup that she's going to wind up in AEW. That those two together as a unit, away from WWE, getting to do their own thing, is going to be really great television. Really.
CJ is one of those people that glows when you see them in person. She just glows. And, God, money all over her. She's just money wherever she goes. If she's in a movie, if she's on TV, she is money.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to bring us to the end of the show today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. 400 episodes in the can. What a ride it has been. And again, on the road to 500. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to be joined by Paul Pratt or Polio Del Mar, whoever shows up at the Pride Month. We're not quite sure who will be here, but one or the other. I have 2 different nameplates now ready for whatever happens. And mystery interview tomorrow. I'm not exactly entirely sure. I've been doing a lot of stuff this week. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to run tomorrow for the interview. So I'll just say, mystery interview. Come back tomorrow. And if you like the Wrestling Inc. Daily, sportwrestlinginc.com. We're on all the social media channels. Of course, we have the Wrestling Inc. podcast late nights here on the YouTube channel after all the big shows, and you can subscribe to that RSS feed as well. What do you want to plug, put over here, Brian, to wrap up the show today?
Well, I'm happy to announce, if you're in the Los Angeles area, next month, July 21st, I will be at the Dynasty Typewriter Theater performing live, opening for Lou Berger. So come on out. It'd be so great to see you guys. Love wrestling fans, love comedy fans. And then also you can always check out my podcast, My Favorite Friendship, wherever you get your podcasts. Tomorrow's episode focuses on the comic relief trio of Billy Crystal, Whoopi Goldberg, and Robin Williams.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's really interesting. There's a
What
lot
a friendship.
Yeah. They raised a lot of money for people too. So
They really did. They really did. And those shows, rewatching them over the past week, has just been so fantastic.
God, I miss Robin Williams so much.
Yeah.
God, he's so good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm at Nick_Hausman over on Twitter. Like I said, new episode of Pro Wrestling for Life with me and Sean Waltman, 6 a.m. Eastern tomorrow on all major podcast platforms. We'll debut it in the afternoon on Sean's YouTube channel. But if you want it early, it is available now in audio and video form. It's the earliest we've ever gotten it up. So if you want to enjoy it today, it's $5 to subscribe to the Patreon, and you can go check out our hour-long conversation with the Bollywood Boys. We literally cover everything they did in WWE and talk about, of course, unfortunately, their release from the past Friday. So a lot to get into there. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I will talk to you tomorrow. And remember, if you winked, you didn't miss it. Bye. Thank you. Happy 400.
Bye, guys.